So, Mark, 10 years ago, you signed James Tavernier when Rangers won the championship. And since then, he's guided Rangers to a league title, a Scottish Cup, a League Cup, and to a European final. What a career he's had.
Yeah, he quite rightly is a Hall of Famer at the Mighty Rangers now. So he deserves enormous credit, Scott. He deserves enormous credit for the way he applied himself initially, the way he learnt from the mentors, the Kennys and the Lees and these type of people. Nico Cranchars, he was always learning. And he's just made a massive contribution over the last decade. So he deserves every accolade that comes his way.
So, how did the prospect of signing Tavernier come about, and what was that process like?
It was simply a case of I knew him from watching him in England. When Davey and ourselves and Frank turned up, we had 9 players. If you remember, the chairman had let 13 go. So we were desperate to sign people like Tav, like Waggy, Martin Waghorn, like Rob Kiernan, etc., Danny Wilson, these type of players. But Tav was an athletic fullback. Whenever you watch Tav play in England, it was a dynamism to his play, his crossing ability. His best form of defense was attack, which has never really changed. But it was his ability with a dead ball, moving ball, and just always available. His playing record is quite remarkable, and that means training as well. His training minutes, pitch minutes, is second to none. So. I think for me, he's come in. That was the big attraction. Delighted to get him on board for such a cheap price. And Waggy, and what I'm saying, buy one get one free. It was just a perfect deal to get those two players. Waggy scored 38 goals, I think, in that first season. So they deserve so much credit. But Tava's just dug in there. He's had some tough times when his form has dipped a little bit. He gets media criticism, which is expected in Scotland, but he's just rode it out, and he's just a tremendous, tremendous asset for Rangers Football Club.
I know, absolutely agree, Mark. And what was your first impression of the Tavernier when you first met him? And did you ever envision him going on to be the leader that he is?
And not so much the leader at first. What I remember about Tav is a smile. I don't want to sound too old-fashioned. He always smiles. He enjoys coming to work. He enjoys training. He enjoys playing. He enjoys getting a new pair of boots and putting them on. He just loves football. So I love that smile. I love the fact that, as I said earlier, people like Lee Wallace took him under his wing and taught him so much, and Kenny and Nico and Clint Hill, these type of seasoned top quality pros really helped him. Really helped him, and he had you could see that. And Lee would talk to him constantly, and I'm delighted that he took the message on board. He clearly absorbed everything sponge-like in his approach. And what happened afterwards, in terms of people, managers changing, Lee and Kenny leaving, etc. Nice to see him step into that void and assume the responsibility.
Mm. And obviously, you touched on some of the criticism that Tavernier's received, right? I think he's hands down one of the most strong, like one of the most mentally strong players in the game. And obviously, some of the abuse I think he's received has been a disgrace, Mark. But the way he handles it just shows how strong of a character he is.
No, it is, and the Scottish media for my very first few weeks in Scotland, I remember the abuse that Ronnie Deila was getting. And that there's almost it wouldn't happen down south. Some of the levels of criticism and the manner of the criticism, but I had Rangers fans phone me up. He's finished. Tab's gone. Legs are gone. He should never be in the Rangers side again. And then 6 weeks later, he's having a man of the match performance, scoring two, captain of the team in Europe. So I just think he's got a thick skin to deal with it, which you have to have. But he's got a great deal of pride in his play. He's got a great deal of pride in his fitness. And as I say, he's a top class professional that has served Rangers so well for nearly a decade now.
Yeah, and obviously, Mark, I'm 28, right? So I've been watching Rangers for about like 20 plus years, right? And I'm not just saying this, but see, for me, I think Tavernier's my favorite Rangers player all the time. Like, it really is. Like at first, I was a bit hot and cold with him, but over the last few years, he's totally won me over. Like, he's bailed Rangers out so many times, and people always kind of touch on like, oh, he's only won 3 trophies, right? But look at some of the teams that he's played in. He's not had like sometimes he's not had some great players around him. But what he's done for Rangers is incredible, and he's a Rangers legend.
No, you're quite rightly so, and that word is used, as we both know, far too often, Scott. But he fully justifies it. Um, I think for me, as I say, what I like about it is the pride he takes in the position of being captain of Rangers. He understands the responsibility, he understands the accountability. He recognises the importance of the club to so many people in the city and around the world. And he gets that. And don't forget people like Davy Weir. Davy is tremendous, and Davy would have helped him in assuming that this is Rangers and what it means. And you either get Rangers or you don't. When you're a big club like such as Rangers, there's big clubs around the world. When you're a big institution, you either understand it immediately or you struggle and filter away. And for me, he got it straight away, and he's just grown and grown year on year. And you mentioned as a fan, when Tab gets the ball, you're never sure what he's going to do. He can whip in that cross, which can kill any defense. He has the ability at dead ball to put it top corner. He'll take a penalty and turn away effortlessly. He just and he's got a charisma about his play. So as I say, use all the cliches, but he's a tremendous asset, and I'm so delighted for him. I hope he has a great testimonial at Rangers, and I hope that the fans turn out in numbers because he deserves that.
And see, in terms of him as a right back as well, the numbers he brings in, it's insane, Mark. I don't think we'll ever see a right back get the numbers that Tavernier gets. Like the fact that he's the highest scoring British defender of all time is incredible.
Yeah, but people will say, "Oh, it's penalties," but you have to step up in big moments and take those penalties. You don't keep getting the penalties if you keep missing, Scott. So he has stepped up, shown his professionalism and his maturity and dealt with the situations. And he's had some big pens for Rangers in big games and big moments. And he's dealt with that. So he deserves it. I mean, the goals he scored when I was there was tremendous, and the free kicks and just his assists and his quality. But everything he does, if you watch Tav, he enjoys playing football. You
Mm.
have to enjoy. I read so many times of players who go, I don't really like the game. I'm not in love with the game. Tav's in love with the game. So that's a great sight for me to see.
And so, in terms of Tavernier, when you managed him, what would you say was your standout moment of his on the pitch?
Oh God, you could say Peter Hebb when he hit that volley from 35 yards in the top corner in front of 40 odd thousand Blue fans. You could say the goal against Hibs when he whipped it in, and the accolades there. But I just think there's so many of them. I think to put it in one perspective, look at the way he actually missed the penalty in that semi-final.
That's right, yeah.
In fact,
Aye.
there's the all-time British scoring defender missing what at the time was a crucial penalty, but it never phased him. And I just love that, whatever you want to call it, bounce back ability, whatever you want to call it with Tav. He's got it in abundance, and yeah, he deserves it. I keep repeating myself here, so I've got to be very careful. But it's good to see good players, good loyal people to a club like Rangers get their accolades and get their rewards. So that's why I'm so pleased for Tav.
So, have you got any funny James Tavernier stories that you can share on air?
That I can share on air. You should have prepared me for that. Um, Probably no. All I remember is some of the shocking music that he used to play in the dressing room. That's what I remember. And he would look at me just to say, "This is the latest one, Scott. I can't tell you how bad this music was." And I remember he put on one track. No, it's not a funny story. He put this track called Bugatti, and the whole words were basically Bugatti for the entire song. And I remember Tav sitting there looking at me going, "Gaff, you got to like this song." And he had the worst taste in music I can ever possibly tell you. But fair play. People like Kenny and Lee put up with it, and Nico put up with it, and Tav dominated. But that showed you a little bit, all joking aside, that as a young player to have the music in the dressing room, he had something about him. You
Mm.
know, Jimmy Bell, obviously sadly gone now, but Jimmy used to look on in absolute disgust at what was being played. But that's Tav, and as I say, he's just a great character. If you watch him, he's always smiling.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that because I follow Tavernier on Instagram and TikTok, and some of his music is very questionable, to say the least.
It's an acquired taste, Scott. It's an acquired taste, and I don't want to acquire that taste.
No, absolutely. And so, obviously, Tavernier's going to be 54 this year. Testimonial, got a year left in his contract. How long do you think he's got left in him? I think he can
He's
probably
a,
go for another
he,
few
he,
years.
he's a very fit athlete. Obviously I haven't seen him of late, but he's a very fit guy. He's always been so available. I'm saying that in terms of I mentioned earlier his pitch training minutes, his match minutes. It's very, very rare that Tav isn't out there. And that was great for a manager to have that availability. So he's obviously a good athlete, and I'd like to think in good shape. It depends very much, is the testimonial seen as is next season seen as a final year? Does he walk away and get a contract in somewhere overseas, North America or Saudi, or I don't know, whatever's in Tav's head, but whatever he decides, if he does leave Rangers at some point, of course, everyone leaves Rangers at some point. You hope very much that he gets the send off that he deserves because there's not many, as you mentioned, not many have delivered the numbers and the goods and the prizes that Stav have.
Mhm. 100%. And see, out of all the signings that you've made, Mark, would you say Tav's the best one?
For Rangers, yeah,
Of all the signings
absolutely.
you made, yeah.
Yeah, because he's played 10 years there. He's come through, we had no money and he came through from the championship and we had to deliver. He dealt with the pressure. He played every week. He's delivered in big games, and he's gone on. He's worked under various managers and he's come through it to be captain and Hall of Fame and everything is fully justified. So yeah, he was a tremendous sign and delighted. Did I know at the time? No one can know that. No one at all can know what comes from a signing, but you hope very much they turn out like Tab because that's been everyone wins in that type of signing.
No, 100%. And Russell Martin is obviously new Rangers boss. If you've got any advice for him, Mark, what would it be?
No, I haven't got advice for Russell. He's a senior guy. Russell would, and he'd take that the right way. He wouldn't offer me any advice, I don't think. But the fact is, he knows the club. He knows the expectation, the fan base. So it won't be new to him. I think if I have to offer anything, it's just love every day of being Rangers manager because it's an absolute privilege. So I hope very much he sees it the same way.
And just to finish off, Mark, obviously you're back in America. I remember you told me the first time we spoke that that was your aim to obviously go back there. And obviously you're the sporting director of Sporting Club Jacksonville. How's it going over there? And then obviously, how did it come about?
Yeah, I was asked, would you believe a Celtic fan is the president and CEO over here? So when he contacted me nearly 2 years ago, I thought it was a bit of a wind up, if I'm honest with you. But it's just men's professional, women's professional elite academy. The academy over here is the size of the country, Scott. So we bought this academy with 10,000 children in it. This gives you a scale. And there's clubs with 15,000. It's just huge. But I want a professional setup. I want to make sure I've hired the women go first. Their first league game is August 23rd. The men follow quickly after in January. So I start that. I've got all the coaching, the women's roster done, and I want to get a head coach from the UK that I've targeted. And yeah, it's just a lot of work, but it's good. It's just a massive continent. And you look at the potential of the player, Scott, and you wonder why there's not more of a UK presence. And I think it's because they don't know how to scout it.
Mm,
I spoke to a federation guy who said, "Oh, we've got one scout in each state. That's one scout for half of Europe.
mm.
The size of some of these states. So it's a massive area, and I think the problem for clubs is capturing that talent and finding it. But yeah, I hope very much we can partner with a big club, and I hope very much they can see the potential here because it's enormous.
Mm. And see, obviously the talent, obviously that you watch over there, like would you say the standard surprised you?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the women at first, in terms of the quality of women, and the breadth of the market, they probably need more professional. They've got this unbelievable uh, youth setup, unbelievable university setup. Where these players are being produced to go on the women's national team, NWSL, of course, but they haven't got enough professional clubs for these girls to go. So the game loses lots of high quality talent. The men obviously is expanding at a rapid rate, but there's some of the players, Scott, some of the young players, 15, 14, 16, etc., that you see, wow,
Mm,
wow. But the thing is finding them because they're spread out. They come together in a youth competition over here, and that's where we have access to, and we can. I'm saying to that UK club, we do the scouting for you. Basically, we see it all, and we can see all the players coming together. And because we're one of the few youth clubs that has a pro team on top, they'll come. It's a different mindset over here, Scott. They come, they want to win. It's a burning desire to win too much, so it overtakes development sometimes. But parents will travel and players will travel enormous distances to have a chance of the pro setup.
mhm.
So you're getting the very best kids are coming in. So yeah, there's some staggering potential over here, and I think if they can keep working on the quality of coaching, then they can really realize that potential.
No, 100%, Mark. And honestly, Mark, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much for coming on, mate.
My pleasure, Scott. Nice speaking to you. You got my number. Hopefully speak to you soon.
Legend, thank you.